Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Race number 8 on Saturday at Kentucky Downs is the $750,000 tourist mile. You can get involved with all of the action at Kentucky Downs with a DRF Bets account. Competitive racing, full fields, only turf racing at Kentucky Downs. Get a $100 deposit match. DRF.com/bet. Here's the field for the tourist mile. Overflow field. Why not running for this kind of money? $750,000 is the purse. We'll take the field in post position order, Mike, beginning with the number 1 snapper, Sinclair, briefly on the Kentucky Derby Trail in 2018 after finishing second in the Risen Star Stakes. He looks like he's gotten back to his good form on dirt, and this horse did some good things on turf as a 2-year-old, winning a stakes race here at Kentucky Downs, and his most recent 2 turf races, throw him out. One in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, the other going 5.5, too short for him on yielding going. I've always liked him as a turf horse, but he's one of many in here that likes to be close to the pace.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see if he can transfer his newly improved dirt form back over to the grass. Because as you say, there was a time when he was a good turf horse, so he can handle it. We'll see what kind of trip he gets. I think he's interested in here.
Next Shares is the number 2. And Next Shares began a turnaround in form when shipped to Kentucky Downs last fall for Richard Baltus. He won a restricted stake, then he pulled off a 23-1 shocker in the Shadwell Turf Mile, and he began his year with a win in the San Gabriel. His last 3 races have not been good, but let's be honest, he's got excuses for 2 of them. The same excuse. The name of that horse is Bricks and Mortar. And in the Kilroe, he had to be a lot closer because there wasn't a ton of pace.
Yeah, his last 3 races aren't great, but you know that he's better than that. His grade 1 win came with the benefit of a really good trip into a pace duel. But just the fact that he already has a win over this turf course, I think it means a lot. I like that they're shipping him back over for this race.
And he is a closer that should get some pace. Let's take a look at that Timeform U.S. pace projector. Pace coming from the outside, 10, 11 up close to the pace. Next Chair's the number 2. He is hanging out at the back of the pack, and if this pace is fast with this long stretch, he should be charging. We know he likes this turf course. Number 3 is going to be a little bit of a price in here. That's Bandar, a horse that's won a few races on the turf in his career, but he was 65-1 in the West Virginia Speakers Cup last time out, and this is a tougher field.
Yeah, right. And he was over 100-1 in this race last year. He feels like he's a big price once again.
The number 4 is Hembry. And just from a Beyer speed figure standpoint, Hembry is a player. 99 Beyer in his last 2 races in graded stakes action in New York. In the Forbidden Apple 2 starts back, I needed him at 12-1, and he got a fast pace. He came with a kick. The problem is the last run was the best run, and your Mr. Haverkamp got me in the shadow of the wire. He came back in the 4-star Dave last time out, and he kind of lacked a little bit of pop. You see him in the teal blinkers, second from the left on your screen, and it looks like for a second he's going to get into this race, and then he kind of just flattens out. He was in against a very sharp mare and got stormy. He fits well here. He likes Kentucky Downs. He'll get pace. He's very logical for Michael Maker, who wins at this meeting.
Yeah, grade 1's probably a little too tough for him. He did his best last time to no avail, but he'd been in good form prior to that. I mean, just on a real good run for Maker right now. And as you say, this race is supposed to really set up for him.
You and I have been waiting for Parlor to turn into a nice horse for a long time, and maybe we gave up on him a little bit too soon. Eddie Keneally put the blinkers on last time out, and he responded with a win, albeit with a perfect trip in this race, the Glasgow at Delaware, where he just settles in behind the lead, shoots up the inside, and he gets the better of Abiding Star, who's a nice horse, but a horse that would be a price in this race.
Yeah, the trip seemed like it made all the difference in here, but it was nice to see him get back to the winner's circle. I'm a little bit of a fan of this horse's, Dan. I think he can take advantage of pace. He wants pace in front of him, so I think he'll come running at the end. Whether he can beat this field, I'm not sure.
I'm the president and perhaps only member of the Siem Reap fan club. The number 6 is 15-1 on the morning line. I thought he ran well in the Old Friends here last year when beaten by Next Year's. He battled it out on the lead. He then got taken back and angled to the outside with about a half mile to run. He made the lead, and favored Next Year's ran him down. This is a horse coming off a race at Ellis Park most recently. It was the Tourist Mile Preview, and as we swing into the stretch, he had everything his own way on the lead. And I just couldn't find an excuse for him losing to Mr. Cub, who's a nice horse in his own right, but I think Siem Reap's supposed to hold this horse off.
Yeah, they're both nice horses. I agree with you that you can't really find an excuse for Siem Reap in this race. in a lot of ways, he's just better when you just let him roll on the front end. But I just don't think that scenario is going to work in this race.
There's just a lot of other speeds in here, so you figure he's going to try to make the front, but if he does, he's going to have to deal with a couple of other horses in a tough spot. I know you're a fan of Exalting, and Michael Maker claimed this horse for $62.5. And what a surprise! He ended up winning a $250,000 race with this horse, and he's been in tough in his last few races. He ran okay last time out in the West Virginia Governor's Cup. Do you think he's a turf horse? The jury's still out.
He's not really bred to be a turf horse, and the only time they ran him on it, he did not run well. I think it makes him tough to take in a race like this.
First Premio is the number 8 in this race, and First Premio has the tactical speed to work out good trips. Both of his wins this year have come in similar fashion, races where he just sat and saved ground in behind the leader, came out in the stretch, and won it. The Colonel Bradley bowled his way out to get the job done. I don't know. I think another good trip is coming in the second flight here in the Forbidden Apple. Maybe he was a little bit too close to the pace. I just don't think he cared for the yielding going.
Yeah, you can give him that excuse for sure. He is a horse who has really good tactical speed. He can get a good trip in this race. And when he shows up and runs his best race, he's a horse who looks really good. He won't always show up and run his best race, but if he runs his best one, he's a contender in this field.
Let's give Mr. Cub extra credit for the race we saw when he defeated Siem Reap. And just remember, he was only a neck behind Hembry at Gulfstream earlier this year. He gets extra credit because that was his first race since February, and Siem Reap had everything his own way on the lead. So Mr. Cub gets extra points, and while he can be close to the pace, he can also rate and finish. So this is a little bit of a sleeper for Brian Hernandez Jr. and Ian Wilkes.
He's very quietly in good form right now. He does have a prior win at Kentucky Downs, which you always like to see. He's going to have some pace to run at in this race. There are things to like.
Like next year's Great Wide Open's form transformation began at Kentucky Downs last year when he was second in the Tourist Mile. Now, we got an easy lead that day, and he was just run over by a better horse and bound for nowhere, but he parlayed that race into a good trip second in the Shadwell Turf Mile, and then he reeled off 2 wins at the Fairgrounds when able to control slow paces. Now, in his last 3 races, the paces have been faster, the competition has been tougher, and he's paid the price. Another fast pace looms here off the layoff.
Yeah, he just seems like he's really compromised by the way this race is going to be run because he wants to lead, and there's just a ton of speed in here.
Real story, another horse that can make the lead. Let's go back to the Dixie. 2 starts back at a mile and a 16th. He made the front. He is the gray, and he's going to get swallowed up by a good horse in Catholic Boy and a decent one in Admission Office. He only gets beat 3/4 of a length by those horses, and that's a pretty nice horse that beat him. Last time out, he was just too much in the Warrior Vet. You give him an easy lead, he makes you pay, but this time around, I'm not sure if an easy lead is his. Can he rate and finish?
I don't know. He hasn't shown that on paper. So if you think he can do it, you're just kind of guessing. You would have to guess at a good price, I would suspect. I don't know. I like him as a horse, Dan. When I first pulled the PPs, I wanted to try and make a case for him. I just don't know if he can get the trip he needs.
Completing the body of the field's the 12 Majestic Eagle, and I respect Neil Drysdale with this move, wheeling this horse back in less than 2 weeks after the Del Mar Mile. We'll watch the Del Mar Mile right now. The pace wasn't fast, but it was contested. He had a fair shot at it, trying to come from last on the far outside. He just kind of picks up some pieces in the lane. Something tells me that this horse is going to benefit from the softer turf course at Kentucky Downs. He's going to benefit from some pace, and very quietly, his Beyer speed figures are going the right way. He's not out of this.
Yeah, I think he can get the right setup in this race, and that will help him. It is interesting that they're shipping here on short rest, and maybe it'll set up right for him. I don't love his races, but maybe he'll just come running at the end and pick this thing up.
Let's take a look at our top pick for the Tourist Mile. We just trust Michael Maker in these kind of races. Hembry is just so consistent, proven over the track, distance, no sweat. Again, he's been facing arguably better horses in the Grade 1 ranks. We took him on top. I went 4-11-12.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that he gets the right trip in this race because I really do like his recent form. I went 4-11-5-2.
We'll see if Michael Maker can get it done with Hembry in the $750,000 Tourist Mile at Kentucky Downs on Saturday. Lots of great racing at Kentucky Downs. You can bet all of the action with a DRF Bets account, and the $100 in deposit matches you earn by signing up at drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the Tourist Mile, 4:11 Central. Good luck.